Odds are if you lived on Chicago's north side, at some point you've driven past Ashland and Hollywood, and that's where you run into this old building, the Edgewater Hospital, now being converted into apartment buildings. And right behind me, two of the buildings that were here are no longer, now being turned into a park. I'm going to talk to the head architect here in a second. We're going to get a tour of the space and see what they're doing differently with it and what they're keeping to keep integrity to the space that once was a hospital for the Chicago scene. So let's go inside and let's take a look and find the architect. All right, I made my way inside with one of the architects that put this all together. Bill, how are you?
I'm good. Good to be with you.
Thank you for letting me come around and take this tour of this amazing space. So this, for people who've grown up in the area, this is the old Edgewater Hospital. It's an old, massive footprint that you guys have kind of taken and made it your own. Why don't you explain what you found yourselves into when you first got here till what it is now?
Right. So as you said, it was the old Edgewater Hospital. So we were confronted with the fact of converting an old hospital building that the first building was from 1930 in the 1930s into a multi-family building, right? So putting residences into the existing building was a bit of a challenge at first, right? But it's a great building. It had lots of great structure to it that we kept. A lot of the apartments have that same, structure exposed. For instance, the concrete ceilings are exposed, concrete columns. So we wanted to, accentuate the good parts of it. And of course, some of the old stuff had to be removed. So
sure, yeah, I imagine just from the age of the building, I mean, it's almost 100 years old. There was probably a lot of removal that you had to get taken care of, enough to even just renovate. You had to get it up to code to renovate it, to get it up to further code, almost to a degree, right?
That's exactly right. Right. So the demolition itself was a very involved process. It took better part of a year to complete itself. And so what we did is we designed as they were demolishing. So we were able to unearth certain things. The building itself is a really fascinating building. It's a accumulation of number of additions. And so what we were trying to do is seam it back together, make it all
make sense.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Right. So the only way we could get there is through understanding what was behind the drywall, was behind the floors. There were a lot of raised floors. So, that took some time.
And you also, there's two significant buildings that are no longer here that are now park space. That's going to be a new park for the area, right?
That's correct. So the original Edgewater Hospital was a 4-block square, if you will, right? So
it's a massive footprint.
Absolutely. So what we're in right now is half of what Edgewater Hospital used to occupy. So that other half, the western half, is then being converted into a park, and that's underway as we speak.
And for people who are thinking about moving here, this has got everything that you might want out of a new apartment. They have amenities and things like that are on the first main floors of the building, correct?
Absolutely. So there's two lobbies. There's the south lobby, which is a little bit bigger than the north lobby, which is where we're at today. The south lobby will have most of those amenity spaces, exercise room, work area, sort of those things that you lounge, bar, kitchen.
Things that I've come to expect over the years.
Absolutely, right. That's right. And then the rest of it is apartments from floors 2 through 8.
And some of those apartments on the floors that you mentioned specifically, that was the functioning hospital, old operating floors where, when we were walking around, you were seeing some of the remnants of the old tile from the old operating floors, or just, there's an atrium that you guys have uncovered, and it was there, but you are working to keep some of those integrities still in place, right?
That's right. Yeah. Don't tell anyone, but the 6th floor is the best floor in the entire building.
Yeah.
So it was the penthouse, the roof level of the original building. So all the additions matched it. So it has really great ceilings, great views, throughout the city. And then we took some of the rooftop areas that were the atrium, and turn those into outdoor spaces. So there's some amenity space up on floors 7 and 8 as well, and that's outdoor space. And those views aren't bad.
Yeah, we were up on that floor, and with the views of downtown, the views haven't really been seen from this angle before, just because, unless you were a patient here or worked here back in the day. So it's kind of this unprecedented view of the city from the vantage point that this building sits on. It's really great.
Absolutely. You can see Lake Michigan from here. Right?
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Very cool. And I think another great aspect of it is you guys kept some of the things that made it a hospital further, like the medical signs on the walls that are those cement signs are in the concrete, I should say, right?
Yeah, I think stuff that was part of the infrastructure, that was beautiful stuff. And so we wanted to make use of that, right? So we tried at every level to kind of make use of the bones of the building, if you will, right? So some of the stacks, so the courtyard on the south building has the mechanical flue, which we've vented all the mechanical equipment, has been painted black and it's exposed, and now it's kind of like an ornamental feature off the back, alluding to what the building used to be, right? The bridges that connected all of these different wings, we've took the skin off and left those become outdoor areas. Back on that best floor of the whole building, sixth floor, has these great terraces that used to be an operating room, right? So now that's outdoor space.
And that's really taking something that was something prior, repurposing it and making it something that could be completely usable and valuable here in 2021 and beyond, right?
That's right, yeah, right. Ultimately, in the end, so I guess it's been about 20 years since this hospital has been used, right? They had people coming and going. So within that 20 years, it just sat dormant, right? So the idea here is, of course, there's Edgewater Hospital, but now it's Anderson Point, right? So now it's a residential building that hopefully, connects the community, that integrates in the community, and is sort of maybe an engine for it too.
Yeah, I mean, you've put in an alley in the back so people can kind of park underneath. So it has every amenity that you could really think of, especially in this area of the city where parking might become a premium. You have parking spaces. The outdoor spaces are incredible. It's just a nice little package, if you will, of something that used to be, it was an eyesore for a long time for people in this neighborhood, and now it could be a beacon, right?
Right, and ultimately in the end, I hope that we've given it a new life, right? So that now it has a future with a different use and a whole nother, part of the neighborhood that has an amenity to it that it didn't before.
Yeah, hopefully several chapters of it to go in the book that is Chicago. So I imagine the popularity is soaring to want to be a part of this place if you're in the neighborhood. So where can people go to find information about this, maybe set up a time where they can come look at an apartment?
Well, I think the website is liveanderson.com.
liveandersonpoint.com?
That's right, yes. I'm just the architect. Yeah, so thank you, yes.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
It's a great website. It's an awesome website.
Yes. And you better act fast because things are filling up. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, there it is, liveandersonpoint.com. If you want information about this space, it's a long ways away from where it was as a hospital back in the day. TBARNAS at WGNTV.com. That's TBarnes at WGNTV.com. If you have a suggestion for the Chicago scene, thank you as always for watching. I appreciate it. See ya.